welcome back to Razor Active. We are still chatting over EPL matches over the weekend. Living room with us, Man U fan Shawal, Arsenal fan Kelvin, Chelsea fan Jonathan, and Liverpool fan Andy. Now, before we start mouthing off again, let's have a look at some of your online comments. Jesse says, everyone was writing United off last season, Kelvin, if you forget. And it was much early to do so, don't you reckon, Kelvin?
I haven't actually written anyone off.
Exactly.
Same as last season.
Where have we written off anybody? No.
Was it last week?
Let's go on to another comment. G Neville 2. I wonder which fan he's from. Last season, I heard a player from Arsenal say he's going to quit if Arsenal doesn't win the league. Can somebody tell me who it was?
I don't think anyone can, because I don't think any Arsenal player actually said that.
I think it started with Emmanuel. Emmanuel and a very long name after that.
If you can find me an exact quote where he said that, then put it on there. But as far as I know, no Arsenal player has ever said he's going to quit just because we don't want the league.
Google it.
Okay,
so go ahead.
We'll Google it and let you know next week. That's it for... We'll get back to some of the comments later. Keep those comments coming in, and then right now we'll get back to our review of the EPL weekend. Okay, we go roll it back to Saturday and then back to Merseyside at Anfield, where Liverpool are supposed to take on newly promoted Stoke City. And they got a second-minute goal disallowed wrongly, and they couldn't score again. So Andy, does this terrible score? Is this a terrible scoreline for Liverpool in terms of its morale?
Well, yes, I would say that. But it's like it's still early in the season. Come on, you look at the top 4 teams. Manchester United is not there. Every Manchester United fan. Even I as a Liverpool fan, I will not write off United's chances. Simply, we dropped the points. It's 2 points drop. Yes, definitely, I say. But I think, Rafa would have told his players, even the captain Stevie G would have told his players as well. So,
what do you think is the ongoing, overriding problem that sometimes Liverpool always gets tripped up by lower teams. Whereas teams like Chelsea or Man U, when you meet their lower teams, it's going to be 3-0, 4-0. But Liverpool, you never know. Sometimes it's 3-0, sometimes 0-0, sometimes they lose 1-2. What's that key? What's the factor?
I think what I feel is that the players, everyone knows next week is the Merseyside derby, and they tend to focus on the game after that. Not the current game that's happening.
Wow,
so that's one of the reasons.
That's not good, right?
Exactly. So this is actually what Rafa said, but Rafa has already told them, concentrate on this game. After this game is done, concentrate on the next game. Do not look forward to the next few games.
But I think another factor will be the last game they just played. They just had Champions League games as well, all the Big Four. So that may be a factor to some performances as well.
Yep, correct.
For information, Liverpool had about 24 chances on goal, or somewhere around that number.
With Fernando Torres in the squad.
With Fernando Torres, with Robbie Keane, with Dirk Kuyt, with everybody there, and then...
I agree on that. But the thing is, look at the way Stoke City actually played.
One of my colleagues said, very, very, very... strongly said, Liverpool don't have a dribbler. That's why they cannot win this kind of matches. What do you think? Do you think he's got a point there?
Yes, I would say that. But, Rafa has just bought this Albert Riera. So, look at the match. His debut was against Manchester United. Look at the way he dribbled past the United defense. This is what we were exactly looking for.
Okay, but if you look at that, it's not just the dribbler not winning this kind of matches, but Liverpool not winning this kind of matches. It's a whole consistency thing. Okay, we're not doing that well at the moment, so of course it's down. But you win a league with taking the points away from smaller clubs and stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know. It looks like the same old Liverpool to me. It's small teams, and they're not getting the points. That's quite I don't know, discouraging for their fans, I think.
Yeah.
Same season.
Yeah.
You have to be
Well,
honest,
yeah.
they're doing far better in the early part of the season
Yes.
than they've ever done previous
Oh, yes,
season.
definitely.
So there is an
Given that.
improvement.
But Stoke
But that said, they only
Anfield,
scored 5 goals, in like five.
But
five
they've got a
big
lot more
matches.
points than their 5 goals.
That's true, lah. So you think they'll improve far better?
Yes, definitely.
That's
Maybe it might even be there at the end of it this time.
I think give them more games. Give them more games.
Give them
Everyone
more
needs
games.
more
Walao, they're all
games.
so
Yeah,
nice.
everyone,
Like, we'll give them more games. We'll see how. Okay lah. Okay, the other major match, well, kind of a major match because it involves another top 4 club. Bolton Wanderers host Arsenal at the Reebok Stadium. So here's the score that happened. Bolton actually took the lead through Kevin Davis in 14th minute.
Can't stand Davis.
Oh, but Arsenal, no, usually at the Reebok Stadium, they 1 goal behind, they are concussed really. But they hit back, Emmanuel Iboe, and then Nicholas Bendtner scored like one after another.
But the last goal by Danielson,
And
that was the
Danielson
one.
rounded off a brilliant run by Theo Walcott to finish off with the goal. So Arsenal got a second away win in a row, right?
I believe it is.
Yes, after a 4-0 against Blackburn, they now beat Bolton Wanderers 3-1. And this result means they go top of the league, 1 point ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool.
For now.
So Kelvin, how important is this win compared to the upcoming schedule coming up?
Well, I think the interesting thing about this game is it's Bolton. Okay, everyone knows we hate playing bloody Bolton. All right, can I say bloody?
Can.
But yeah, we can't stand playing Bolton because of the way they usually play. Of course, Sam Allardyce isn't there anymore, so they don't play that kind of football they normally play, which is kick us when we have the ball and kick us when we don't have the ball. But still, they were really physical. I'm sure the tackle on Clichy was obvious. Right, that was really a foul. I have no idea why he got away with just a yellow card. But Arsenal stepped up. I think certain personnel have improved a lot. Danielson is playing a lot better than pre-season. And I think one interesting thing you notice for Arsenal now is we defend on a very high line as opposed to previously where we would hold back. And we stopped playing the way we used to play with Kleb. We stopped passing back the ball to the middle. Now we run through. And Walcott obviously is much improved as well. So if you talk about how these first 3 or 4 games this season have shown, it's shown that we have improved in certain areas. But we haven't really played top teams to show our deficiencies yet. So it's still early.
We got to have a look at one of the comments that come in. Kelvin fly too much, can't even keep up with his beloved club's news from Brooklyn.
And which
Hey,
news
this is
would
not
that be?
fair lah. Come on lah. I know different job, but different.
Oh, I think it's because of what Leo said at the bottom, you see.
Arsenal.
Adebayo.
All the way down.
Yep.
I need to say
you
this.
actually Googled that.
Yeah, but I need
Nice
to say
one,
this.
Leo.
I need to say this to Leo though. Actually, this is really important. Am I getting like? I need to see his face, or he needs to see my face. You are actually reading the Sun. You're actually believing the Sun. This is a newspaper with page 3, hot chicks there. Please get a proper newspaper. Get the Guardian to come up with a quote like that. I'll believe you.
I can vouch for that. The Sun, you all have to take their stories like a lot of salt.
There's a reason why it's a
A
tabloid,
lot
right?
of salt. So anyway, well, Adebayo is still there.
That's
He
right.
hasn't quit yet, so case closed, right? But anyway, for Arsenal, okay, they've got a bit of grit now that they can overcome Bolton away from home. But right now they played 5 matches and they still haven't faced Man U, still haven't faced Chelsea, still haven't faced Liverpool yet.
Yeah.
Do you think that this will last when you eventually face the other top 4 clubs?
I think it's the same with every other season. Injuries will play a factor at the end of the day. Who actually gets to be on the team when the big 4 actually match up? Carvalho got injured within the first half, and you could see the difference in Chelsea's defense after that. They conceded, I think. But my point being that it's still early. We would love to play the big 4, but the way the fixtures are, we haven't. And sometimes it's good that you don't meet them early because we get to rack up the points first. Psychologically, that's a very big factor. I think for Man U, one of the reasons why you guys got 7 yellow cards is because you guys also knew this was a make or break game.
Yeah.
You know, some of the tackles were desperate. And then when Chelsea went behind, some of the tackling was desperate tackling as well. You know? So in that sense, I have to say that we just have to wait and see. Yeah.
Okay,
I find that
lah.
Arsenal the squad is quite thin this season.
Well,
So many
if it's
people
one
to
thing that the Bolton game didn't tell was that, they're quite bare. And 3-1, it looks nice on the scoreboard, but I was watching the game. They were really hanging on for 2-1. Danielson scored. It was a huge sigh over in
I have to say
Emirates
about
Stadium.
the Nielsen goal, though. That goal was really the kind of goal that we used to score under the Invincibles. 4 touches from one end of the field to the other. It's a sign that things are starting to click, because these goals don't come by flukes. They're on the training ground over and over and over again. The passes are all measured. It's down to a science for these players. So it shows that the players are starting to click. And as I said, I think the most interesting is that Nielsen is playing a lot better than in pre-season. If you say we have a thin squad, all I can say is we haven't seen the best of some of the players yet.
I mean, it's true, but the thing is that, no offense to Arsenal, but I don't see any players that can really dominate the game.
The physical side, like Bolton, they were struggling. They were struggling for a long spell. I mean, they had good spells during the game, of course, given that Bender goal was a beauty. There was non-Arsenal-like at all. Crossing it in and coming in the box and putting it in. But tough physical side, their first real test of the season, and they had to scrape away with the last.
Well, I mean, a win's a win, right?
A win's, of course.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. We won the league scraping
Precisely.
for 10 seasons, but I'm just saying that, there's more to Arsenal than just. They're doing very well, fantastic.
Yeah.
At the
And I
moment.
think the interesting thing, as I was telling you guys before, is that the difference between us and the rest of the other teams in the top 3 is we don't have an individual player. We don't play by individual. We play by a system. So even if you talk about having a thin squad, frankly speaking, any one of our players could come in, and it wouldn't be an issue where suddenly, let's say, for example, Adebayo's off, and then we can't play because Adebayo's not playing.
But you could work. Maybe that could work with Chelsea's gathering of all the stars.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a young talent, that's right. But sometimes, when things are not going right, you need somebody like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You need somebody
You
like
need
those
those
experienced ones,
That's what
to
Thierry
come
Henry
up with
proved.
just one moment, that settle the things right.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody like that? Maybe Theo Walcott?
But I have to say, frankly, once again, I mean, you were referring to Henry, but you must remember, Henry was that good because the rest of the team also, he had Bergkamp in the day, all right, to spray him through pass after through pass after through pass. And then after that, he had the whole team working for him, all right. The way they would work is they would pass the ball in between and wait for him to make the true run.
If you're making a contrast
In a certain way, yes.
if you're making a contrast of Arsenal having that kind of whole team system play, you're indirectly saying that we are depending on some stars.
I have to
which
say-
I have to debate that if you say Henry is going to be having the whole team supporting him, Ronaldo had the whole team supporting him for 42 goals. That's the same argument. It's the whole team. But that is why big clubs spend 30 million on players to turn games. It's important.
But that's not
Then
how
you become
Arsenal does it,
you
you see.
become an Aston Villa if you're just going to have just one whole team playing together.
Bottom line is we
You need a talisman.
team, yes, but also need a few sprinkles of stars.
Definitely.
You
No,
definitely
that's if
need
you
it.
want to. That's if you
I
want
mean, put it
to.
this way: if suddenly Arsenal were to face with an injury crisis, then how?
I think we've always been playing with injury crisis. Look at our injury list even now as it is. We're perpetually with
You've
injury
got one
crisis.
more, Michael Silvestre. Yeah. So
Oh well, we bought
Good luck
him
with
injured,
that, yeah.
so that's
Good
how
luck
it
with
is.
Thanks, Manu.
But yeah, but the most important thing is that at the end of the day, all right, the amount of money that this club spends, all right, and the reputation we've gathered for attractive football, all right, as a team, you can't take that away from us. You can have your individual stars, all right, but your stars can perform on one day and not perform on the other. But on the other hand, it's a really nice thing to watch a whole team play the way football's supposed to be played, like Brazil.
I think for that we really have to give credit to Arsene Wenger. I mean, he did quite a fair job over at Arsenal.
We got a comment that comes in straight from our talk here, where was it? Hybrid said, we don't work with individualism. What's with that word when Henry was still at Arsenal? Well, he implied that Henry is all about individualism. Do you agree or not, Kelvin?
I think that's actually stretching it. Henry never said that he was bigger than the team, did he?
You can't say that.
Yeah,
Can't
but
say
we
that.
Make him
also-
public enemy. if you
But
say
we
that.
also know that the fact was that Henry excelled in a team that was built for him. Wenger made a team, made a strong spine of a team that would work with Henry's strengths. It was never about individualism in that sense.
So it's
And I
more
think
than meets the eye.
There was a period where Henry was out for a long stretch of time where we actually won quite a fair number of games.
Fair enough. It's more than meets the eye about individualism. I think I mean, we can say about stars, but Robinho might not be doing too well if the Manchester City don't step up, isn't it? But they kind of stepped up big time with the 6-0 win. But anyway, we can talk about that later. We will go into a break first. We'll come back with more.